In the quiet corridors of the city mortuary, a place where silence reigned and the air was heavy with finality, James was beginning his shift. A man of few words and steady nerves, he had spent countless nights surrounded by the lifeless, a silent witness to the unending cycle of life and death. For James, the mortuary was a place of order, routine, and a peculiar kind of serenity. But on this night, everything was about to change. Before we dive into this extraordinary story, do us a quick favor, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell. It's the best way to stay updated with unbelievable tales like this one, and your support means everything to us. Let's see if we can reach 2,000 likes on this video, because trust me, you won't want to miss what's about to unfold. James's nights were typically uneventful. He would make rounds, check the security cameras, and jot down observations in his logbook. The mortuary, with its faint hum of overhead lights and the occasional creak of settling wood, was a sanctuary of stillness. Over the years, James had grown accustomed to the peculiarities of his job. An occasional unexplained sound, the flicker of a light, or the eerie chill of the air in certain rooms. He brushed off such things as quirks of the old building. Tonight, however, something felt different. Earlier that evening, the arrival of a new body had disrupted the routine. Clara, a young woman in her early 30s, had been brought in after being declared dead from an apparent allergic reaction. Dr. Hargrove, the coroner, arrived shortly after, with explicit instructions that unsettled James. "James," Dr. Hargrove said, his voice firm and his expression unusually tense, "no one is to view the surveillance footage of the autopsy room tonight. Not you, not anyone." James nodded, though his curiosity was piqued. In all his years at the mortuary, he had never received such a directive. The doctor's tone was commanding, almost fearful. What could possibly make this case so different? As the hours ticked by, the mortuary grew quieter, the stillness amplifying every sound. James couldn't shake the unease that had settled over him. The security monitors displayed their usual feeds: empty hallways, locked doors, and of course the autopsy room. But James found his eyes drawn repeatedly to Clara's still form on the screen. Something about the way she lay there seemed off. He tried to distract himself with paperwork, but the gnawing curiosity wouldn't let him be. Finally, against his better judgment, James switched the monitor to the live feed of the autopsy room. The screen flickered, and there she was, Clara, lifeless on the steel table, illuminated by the harsh, fluorescent lights. At first, everything seemed normal, if anything in his line of work could be considered normal. But then, a movement. James leaned closer, his breath catching. Clara's hand twitched. He told himself it was just post-mortem muscle spasms, a natural phenomenon he had seen before. But then her arm moved again, more deliberately this time. And then, to his utter disbelief, her chest began to rise and fall, shallow but rhythmic. "Impossible," James whispered, his heart pounding in his chest. He watched in stunned silence as Clara's eyelids fluttered open. Moments later, she sat up. The next few minutes felt like an eternity. James bolted from the security room, his mind racing. As he burst into the autopsy room, he found Clara sitting upright, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. Her skin was pale, and her hands trembled as she clutched the blanket he quickly wrapped around her. "Where am I?" she asked, her voice hoarse and barely audible. You're in the mortuary," James stammered. "But you're alive. You're alive." Clara's breathing was shallow, her movements weak. but she was undeniably alive. James quickly called for emergency services, his hands shaking as he dialed. While they waited, Clara began to recount her harrowing experience. "I couldn't move," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I could hear everything, the voices, the machines, but I couldn't speak or open my eyes. I thought I was dead." The paramedics arrived swiftly, their faces a mixture of astonishment and professionalism as they assessed Clara's condition. James accompanied her to the hospital, staying by her side as she was rushed into the emergency room. Along the way, Clara explained that she had suffered a severe allergic reaction that had slowed her vital signs to almost undetectable levels. Mistakenly declared dead, she had been sent to the mortuary while still clinging to life. Back at the mortuary, Dr. Hargrove returned to find James gone and the autopsy room empty. When he learned of Clara's survival, his face turned ashen. The coroner's reputation for precision was well known, but this incident would haunt him for years to come. In the days that followed, the story of Clara's miraculous survival spread like wildfire. News outlets picked up the tale, and James found himself thrust into the spotlight. The quiet night guard, who had spent years in the shadows, was now hailed as a hero. His decision to trust his instincts and act quickly had saved a life, a fact that wasn't lost on Clara, who insisted on thanking him personally. Their bond grew in the weeks that followed. James visited Clara regularly, bringing her flowers and sharing stories of his work. For Clara, these visits were a source of comfort and a reminder of the second chance she had been given. For James, they were a testament to the fragility and resilience of life. The incident prompted an investigation into the procedures for declaring someone deceased. Hospitals and mortuaries across the city reviewed their protocols, determined to prevent such a mistake from happening again. Clara's case became a landmark example of the importance of thoroughness and vigilance in the medical field. For James, the experience was transformative. The mortuary, once a place of finality, now held a deeper meaning. It was no longer just a resting place for the departed. It was a space where life had defied the odds, where miracles could happen. James found himself approaching his work with a renewed sense of purpose. His nights filled not with resignation, but with a profound respect for the mysteries of existence. As the years passed, James and Clara remained close friends. Their shared experience had forged a bond that neither time nor distance could break. Clara, who had once been a symbol of death, became a beacon of hope. Her story inspired countless others to cherish every moment and to never take life for granted. James, too, became a source of inspiration. He often shared his story with new colleagues and friends, a reminder that even in the darkest places, light could find a way through. His tale was one of vigilance, courage, and the unyielding belief that life is full of surprises. And so, in the quiet corridors of the city mortuary, where the echoes of life and death intertwined, James continued his watch. But now, every shadow, every whisper of the wind, carried a new meaning, a reminder that even in the face of finality, life has a way of rewriting its story. This tale of life's triumph over death is one for the ages. If you found it as incredible as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes the most miraculous moments happen when we least expect them.